I'm Dhadi Sai Praneeth Reddy, co-founder and AI researcher at Atlas AI Labs. It's a privilege to be speaking with you today. And whether you're joining from a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, or a research lab, or a regulatory organization, a technological company, or a simple touring with an interest in the future of healthcare or a pharmacy, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be a part of the conversation. Over the past few years, the artificial intelligence has become one of the most discussed technologies in the world, and it is transforming industries, reshaping the business models, and changing the way organization takes decisions. But there is one industry where trust matters more than the intelligence itself, and that industry is healthcare. When we speak more about artificial intelligence in pharmaceuticals, the conversation often begins with an automation. How do we automate the quality control? How do we automate the compliance? How do we automate the supply chains? Yep, all these are important questions. But I believe there is a most important question is one we rarely ask. Can we trust the intelligence that will eventually govern the systems responsible for the human life? Because pharmaceuticals are different. See, if an algorithm recommends a wrong movie or a wrong location or a wrong product, nothing happens to the life. If a social media platform predict or show you some wrong advertisements or predict some wrong predictions, nothing happens there. But when intelligence become part of the chain that develops, transports, verifies, and delivers the medicine, the consequences are not measured in clicks or revenue, but in the patient outcome of the life. And that changes everything. So today, the global pharmaceutical ecosystem is more interconnected than at any point of the human history. A single therapeutic product may involve raw materials sourcing from multiple countries, manufacturing in another geographical location, quality validation in a separate jurisdiction, and final delivery across the thousands of kilometers, where a pharmaceutical supply chain is no longer a supply chain. It is a global trust network. And every trust network is also as strong as the integrity of the information flowing through it. And this is where the challenge begins. Many of our current systems were designed for the world that makes simpler, slower, and more predictable. But now the world is no longer predictable. And the geopolitical tensions disrupt the trade routes, and climate volatility affects the transportation conditions, and supply chain experiences are unexpected delays, and counterfeit products become increasingly sophisticated, and regulatory expectations continue to raise. And eight, many intelligent systems still operate on the fundamental reactive models, and that tells us what happens. But increasingly, we need the systems that to help us understand what is happening and what may next happen. And the future of pharmaceutical AI is not merely a prediction, but it's an assurance, validation, and a trust. At Atlas AI Labs, this challenge was lead us to explore a concept we call it as ANCOVE, the autonomous nonlinear Cholesky-Coppola ontogenic validation engines. The name is complex, but the objective is very simple. That how do we move from passive monitoring to active assurance? And how do we create the systems that continuously validate the integrity of the data and its process, its pre-processing, the decisions throughout the life cycle of the pharmaceutical operations? And how do we transform the compliance from a retrospective activity into a continuous capability? And how do we ensure that the intelligence remain accountable in highly regulated environments? Imagine the future where pharmaceutical logistics systems that do more than report anomalies, and they understand the context, they verify the conditions, they continuously evaluate the risk, and they identify deviations before the deviations become the failure, and they provide the organization with a great confidence in the quality, traceability, and integrity of the operation. And that is the direction in which the industry must evolve. But there is an even larger conversation that deserves an attention. And this is not only a technological opportunity, but this is a strategic opportunity. For decades, India has earned a title called Pharmacy for the World. And this achievement was built on specific scientific excellence, manufacturing capability, and an unwavering commitment to accessibility. The next question is whether India can become the intelligent layer of the world's pharmaceutical ecosystem or not. And can we lead not only the manufacturing medicine, but also building the trusted digital infrastructures that verify, protect, and govern those medicines? Can we develop AI systems that strengthen the transparency, improve compliance, and enhance the resilience and increase the confidence across the global health networks? And I believe we can. And I believe this represents one of the most significant opportunities of the coming decade. The future leaders of pharmaceutical innovation will not simply be those who produce the more, but they will be those who establish greater trust. Trust becomes the trust between the manufacturers and regulators, the trust between technology and healthcare, the trust between innovation and safety, the trust between nation and supply chain. Ultimately, trustworthy AI is not about replacing human expertise, but it is also about amplifying it. It is not about replacing scientific judgment, it is about strengthening the scientific confidence. And it is not just about removing the human responsibility, it is about to creating a system that helps us exercise that responsibility more effectively. As we are entering the next era of pharmaceutical transformation, I believe that defining question will not be how intelligent are our systems, but the defining question will be how much can we trust them? The organizations, industries, and nations that answer the question successfully will define the future of healthcare. And the future of healthcare is not definitely solely by the medicines we manufacture, but it will be defined by the trust we can guarantee around them. Thank you so much for such a great opportunity.